Hello, my name's Jack Howard.
And I'm Mark Kermode.
We're here today at the Cineworld Leicester Square.
We're going to be talking about the films of Christopher Nolan. Why?
Why? Why? How about because Christopher Nolan is the most important director in the history of the world?
No, it's because Oppenheimer is opening in IMAX.
Oh, sorry.
Dial it down a little bit.
Let's get a bit overexcited. Christopher Nolan is somebody that I was introduced to when I was like 16 years old. So like watching...
Not personally.
Yeah.
Somebody went, Jack, this is Christopher Nolan. He's going to be really big.
Right, roll the film.
Yep, we're ready. Bring it on.
Nolan texted me, he said he was fine. He just sort of shaped my tastes. And I think seeing The Dark Knight at the age of 16 in the cinema...
Yeah, for you, this was like a transformative experience.
Yeah, I was almost like, oh my God, this is what films are? And actually, no, they're not all that good. Because it was the first film to ever use IMAX cameras for...
certain sequences.
Yes, yeah, it was the first one to ever do it for a fiction film. You know, before that, they were filming
with documentaries,
penguins,
yeah, that's right,
like
outer
that.
space and underwater.
Yeah. And I remember the first time I went to go see The Dark Knight in IMAX, and then that first shot that opens of Chicago, I remember just being like, I'm gonna fall in.
I remember exactly the same thing because that opening shot is kind of, it's huge and expansive and vertiginous, but it's just so big. But the trick is the narrative going to work along with the visuals? And actually, I think the thing that's fascinating about Nolan's work is, yes, there is spectacle, and yes, there is cinema on a scope that you've never seen it before, but it's never not tied to narrative.
This is a national emergency.
Detonator charged.
It feels like Christopher Nolan's the only person who's able to be experimental with blockbuster. I'm thinking about Tenet. As you know, I'm obsessed with it.
You are. I remember you ringing me up sometime after Tenet had come out. I think you'd seen it a few times by then. And you went, even the pull-ups are reversible. And I went,
pull-up is a palindrome.
That was it. That was the phrase you used. Mark, a pull-up is a palindrome.
And then I put the phone down.
Put the phone down.
We're in a race against the Nazis. And I know what it means if the Nazis have a bomb.
What is it that you get from IMAX that you don't get from another cinema experience?
Well, it basically is well bigger.
If you could make it less technical, Jack, that would be great.
So IMAX is literally a bigger format of film, isn't it? So
yes.
like, I think it's more than double the size.
So when you shoot on IMAX, you're getting more information.
It's bigger, it's got more detail, it's brighter.
So here there's laser projection, so you have crystal clear images, it's a huge screen, you have the full surround sound experience. But crucially, and I think this is the key to it, when you're watching it, you don't think, oh, that's a crystal clear image, and wow, that's a very clever use of sound. What you think is, I'm in that world. And I think that's the key thing.
Build a town, build it fast. If we don't let scientists bring their families, we'll never get the best.
I don't know if you've noticed this. A running theme through all of Nolan's films is time. It's very subtle. I'm not sure if you've picked up on
Jack.
this. So obviously we all know this, that Nolan loves time. So I'm wondering, for Oppenheimer, how do you feel he's going to use it in this?
Well, in a way, we've already been kind of set up for it because the trailer for Oppenheimer has got a countdown on it. Which I think is the first time I've seen a trailer that's actually got a real-time countdown on it to the film's opening.
And those black and white sequences that we're seeing featured in the trailer as well.
Which were actually shot in black and white.
Which is amazing, because I think they literally invented...
Black and white IMAX.
I'm probably simplifying this massively, but they basically invented a new black and white IMAX film to shoot all of this on, which had never been done before.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan wrote a lot of Oppenheimer in the first person,
right,
which you don't do with screenplays. It's very, very interesting as an exercise. This is what I'm saying about like him as a filmmaker, just going, I wonder if you do this, what would happen and how this changes the process. He just seems to be able to be experimental at a huge level, like literally the biggest level you can get to. And apparently the color sequences are subjective experiences and the black and white are objective experiences.
Oh, that's interesting.
We all know as well that he refuses to use digital visual effects, and he will be apparently recreating an atomic bomb for real in some way.
Let's be absolutely clear about this. I'm pretty certain he hasn't used an atomic bomb. I'm pretty certain that what they said was that they used explosives. I think there are laws about you. But there is something fantastic about that, which is I'd like to have a really big explosion. Well, just bring you over here, Christopher, to these digital artists. No, I'd like to have a really big explosion.
Are we saying there's a chance that when we push that button,
we destroy the world.
Chances are near zero.
Near zero.
What do you want for theory alone?
Zero would be nice.
What's your best Christopher Nolan moment? What's, you know, of the whole filmography, what's the thing that you remember more than anything?
The first thing that comes to mind is the end of Inception. Spoilers, it's been out for over 10 years, so I think I'm allowed to sort of talk about it.
So you're doing the top?
But I think the spinning top, and it's not because of the story itself, although it is a perfect ending, but it's the gasps in the cinema. And knowing it was coming, like when I saw it multiple times in the cinema, waiting for that cut to black for everyone to go,
does it start to wobble?
Of course it starts to wobble. It's the perfect amount of tease.
It's the perfect amount of did it actually start to wobble?
Whether it's in a dream or reality doesn't matter. The point is the character has decided that it doesn't really matter to him anymore. It's not relevant.
My favourite Christopher Nolan moment, which isn't even on the screen, it's a moment in me, is the moment in The Prestige when you realise what he has to lose every time it happens. And you talked about the gasp at the end of Inception with the top. I remember watching The Prestige and literally doing that gasp because other people were realising it at a different moment.
Yes.
It was almost like just me in my own world went, the key to it all is those are intimate moments. Those are moments that are to do with things that are internalised. That's why I'm kind of interested in how Oppenheimer will play out, because it's the very big and the very small.
This is a matter of life and death. But I can perform this miracle.
It's easy to forget that IMAX is not just to do with wow.
Yes.
Throughout the ages, filmmakers have wrestled with how do you put the human face on screen in a way that makes the person watching it feel that they understand what's going on in that head. And, you know, half of it is the actor and half of it is the cinematographer. So I think there is a really, really fascinating thing about capturing human emotion on screen in a format like IMAX.
You are the man who gave them the power to destroy themselves. And the world is not prepared.
7, 6, 5.
Thanks for watching.
Make sure you check out Oppenheimer at Cineworld in IMAX.
It's really big.
It's massive. Have some popcorn?
No.
Okay, more for me.